Hello all, it's Mandy here from the Kids Bubble Hub. So I've got a very special guest that's coming to join me today. It's Charlotte from the Funky Makers. Charlotte and I have met through an amazing group called the Tech Pixies, and Charlotte and I share a lot of similar sort of crafts and some of the ideas that we want to do with the crafts. And she's kindly said she'd come on and join us and show us how to make some pom-poms, which has been a suggestion from some of the group. So I'd like to welcome on Charlotte. Hello, hi, Charlotte.
I've just we're playing with the technology a bit, aren't we? So I've actually shared to my Facebook page as well. So hopefully that will all work and go out live at the same time on both of them.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, we're technology before COVID and before Tech Pixies. I was just sharing earlier today, I couldn't even write a proper email. And so now look at me, you know, I didn't think I'd be sat here doing this. And especially meeting, you know, somebody, because we're from different areas, aren't we, Charlotte?
Yeah, I'm in Bromley in Kent. Obviously, you're in Wales. And, you know, we're online and we've had so many interactions that it feels like we really know each other, even though we've never met. And you know, it's funny, isn't it? Because you know, when we do meet in person, I don't think it will be any different to how we are now.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, it's just been wonderful. So do you just want to tell us a bit about you and your background and how you ended up on the Tech Pixies?
Yeah, I used to run after school clubs called Funky Makers, and obviously when COVID, I couldn't do them anymore. So couldn't do them live. Haven't even though the school they haven't had any after school clubs back at all yet. So I discovered Tech Pixies online when I was trying to make some decisions about how I was going to pivot my business and try and work online. I joined the Tech Pixie course back in April of last. This is where we are now, because I wouldn't have been doing this sort of thing last. Just wouldn't have had the confidence to go live, and now I'm probably doing a live event at least once a week. It's been absolutely fantastic. It's been really, really good. The training we get on both the technology side and the mindset coaching has been really good. So it's been a lovely journey, and it's been amazing meeting so many women who are like-minded as well, and fabulous getting to know people. And it was really cool through lockdown, I think.
Yeah.
So I'm going to show you a couple of things, if that's all right.
Yeah, please do. I'm looking forward to pom-pom making.
So I've got a few pom-poms that I've they look amazing in really nice bright colours, but one is a yarn that is multicoloured anyway. So it wasn't made with multiple colours. The yarn had different colours running through it. This is just sort of standard single colour one. But this one was made by running a number of different mindset coaching. It's been really that's just a simple. So you can do different sizes. As you can see, there's quite a big difference between that size and this size. And you can do lots of different things with pom-poms. So this is a peg doll that I created. If that's a good angle, sorry, I find where the camera is in. So it's one of those pegs, and the pom-poms on it. There are various different methods for doing this, and on the head, so you can do nice things with them. This guy, he's made of these,
the mindset coaching has been really.
I'm hearing myself back.
Yeah, that's me. I do apologise.
Okay.
It's my end. Trying to
Um,
do things and perhaps I shouldn't.
okay. Not to worry. He's been made a while, and his poor little ears. I've lost one of his ears, but so I think the glue on some of these things becomes a bit unstuck at
Really
times.
hard. Glued the ears on.
But I need to glue his ears, but one of his ears is lost now. But I need to put his ears back on. Poor little rabbit. And then things like this. So this is one's
Right.
so actually that's a good point. I can show you a star I've just strung the pom-poms onto, and it from that's a wire hanger.
Right.
So I've bent the wire hanger into shape and slid the poms on, and I will put that one back. It's back like a star again. So yes, there's so much that you can do, and you can see like online there's so much so many different things that you can actually do with them, and absolutely beautiful pom-pom wreaths and sort of thing. And if you have a look at my profile on Instagram, you'll see a number of things that I have done with them in the past.
Made quite long, didn't I? Would you share that story with us? Because I found that really interesting.
What's that, Maddie? Sorry?
The picture that you showed of your pom-poms.
I will. Can I put it up in the comments afterwards?
Please do. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah. So yes, Maddie knows that I learned for this world record for the longest line poms. It's nearly 2 years ago now. So we did it in June or July 2019. We had enough pom-poms. In fact, we bet the number of pom-poms by a third, but Guinness World Records are really quite stringent about their rules. So it's not, it's not easy to get a Guinness World Record, but we had some gaps. So the record is for the longest line of pom-poms, and we had 3 small gaps. And so the rules were that every pom-pom had to touch. And in the line, there was pom-poms that might have been maybe apart, and there were 3 gaps in the line, and they didn't give us the record because of those gaps in the line.
It's a fantastic picture of how long it was. It was. Where did you put them all?
So they were in a sports hall in a secondary school that's local to us. And it was absolutely massive. The sports hall probably had about 4 basketball courts on it. So, if you can imagine that. Well, I will upload the picture onto the comments afterwards, and you can see, because on the picture you can see that some of the counters that are counting the pom-poms are in their little yellow high-vis jackets. And they look tiny because the photograph is taken from an aerial position. And they look tiny, and it sort of gives you an idea of how the pom-poms are, sort of how many pom-poms there were, because they were just all laid out in rows on the floor. It was absolutely amazing, and we are going to do it again, but obviously COVID has got in the way of doing that. So we will get there eventually. We will. They're all in storage at the moment. We have kept them. And the intention is to sell them on. We did it on behalf of a charity. So it's Valley Primary School, which was my son's primary school, and we were doing it for a charity, which is the Chartwell County. So that's what we were trying to do at the time, and then sell the pom-poms off eventually, make things with them, sell them off in craft packs, so that we could raise funds for the charity. That's the plan, and hopefully someday we'll still be able to do that.
So sounds like you've done. Was it for raising money then? So I bet you've got a lot of support behind that.
Yeah, that was a plan. It's such a nice thing to do because everybody loves a pom-pom. Absolutely everyone loves a pom-pom, and we had all of the families in the school were involved in it. All the kids in the school were involved in it. We held a number of community events where people made them. Our local centre, the Glades shopping centre in Bromley, let us go in there over half term and set up stalls, serving pom-poms. So like all the people in the local community got involved in it, and yeah, it was really, really fun. It was a massive community building event, and it was really good, really good fun.
Oh, what a lovely way to bring community together. And I think we kind of keep coming back to that, don't we? You know, the Tech Picks is the community, your local community. How can we link online? And I don't know about yourself, but I'm really loving exploring, you know, ways of bringing community together, and not just sort of like small communities. Like I'm loving linking in with you guys and working with you guys. It's just so much fun.
Yes, absolutely. And the thing is that we're missing community so much because we're not and about in those physical spaces anymore. So we need our online community more than ever. We need our online community, and it's amazing actually the power of the online communities that we have.
Yeah.
So shall we get started, because we can continue to chat while we're actually
start.
So I'm going to show you ways. In fact, no, I might show you 4 different ways of making a pom-pom. So the first way I'm going to show you is using the traditional circles. So I've just got some light cardboard, and I've got my scissors here. What we need to do is to draw some circles. So I'm going to put my laptop down so that you can see the screen. So that just means that I'm going to put it down this way a bit. So you can see what I'm doing with my hands.
Lovely.
It's going to stay, not going to stay. Sorry. We tested this out before, didn't we? And it was fine.
Still learning, and tech still gets the better of us.
No, it's in the box now. Just a sec. Right, that's down there. Let me bring the box back. Okay. Yep. Hopefully it's going to be all right. Now you can't see my face, unfortunately, when I'm doing this, but we'll look in and out every so often. So this is just a light cardboard. So something like a cereal box or these Amazon delivery packages. They're all good for this. And basically, for the size of your pom-pom, you can use a circle that's bigger than this. I'm just using a tin. It's a coffee tin. And for the middle, I'm going to use this glue stick to draw around. And the size of my pom-pom, or the diameter of my pom-pom, is going to be from there to there. So that's going to be the sort of size that I've got. So if we're going to just draw, we need to draw 2 circles.
Someone's just said hi, a Facebook user. If anyone wants to say hi or put their name in, we can't see. You need to give us permission through StreamYard. But it'd be lovely to know who's chatting to us.
So I'm going to draw 2 circles there, and then in the center of those 2 circles, I'm going to put my glue stick. And you could, if you wanted to, if you have a compass, you could obviously use a compass to draw as well. But it's
I've got a little filter I've got that seems to be a smaller circle. So I suppose it's just about looking around the house about what you've got, isn't it? That's one's bigger than the other.
And then we're going to cut those circles out. I'm just going to. This is too deep, so I'm just going to.
There should be a link on the top. Someone's just asking how do we. I'm hoping they're asking how do you use StreamYard. There should be a link just above in the comments, and you should be able to click that just to give StreamYard permission for us to see you. If not, just put in your name, and that'd be just fine too.
Just wondering if I can see any comments on my. Oops, sorry.
There should be a link above in the comments, and you should be able to. You're doing a meeting now. You've got a bit of an echo going on there.
I didn't want to do that. I was just wondering if I could see from my phone who was making the comments, or whether it was someone.
Yeah, I thought to mention when anyone comments on StreamYard, they've got to have comment. They've got to have made sure that they give permission. I think you've only got to do it once.
Yes,
so we can
once we've done it.
comments then.
So we're just going to cut those 2 circles out.
It's really lovely, you know, doing this, but also to feel like connected with other people when they come on and chat as well. It just just brings another element in.
Yes, I did actually see when we came on there that you can have up to 10 people on StreamYard, which
wouldn't that be exciting? What could we do with 10 people?
But I thought that's it's quite interesting, because actually trying to have 10 people on the same screen. I mean, I guess we do it on Zoom, don't we?
It's also managing it as well, isn't it? Because it's not like in real life. You know, it's making sure that everybody can have their say and everybody can be heard. Yes. You're cutting a slit in it then for that.
So I am going to cut a slit in it, and then I'm going to cut around the inner circle.
I love making this.
It's going to be a particularly big pom-pom. It's because, as you can see, the gap between here and here isn't a lot, but I could have used something smaller. And
I'm really liking what you can do on StreamYard. It's really nice to be able to bring guests on, and also there's an element that when we get really tech savvy, we could even bring up a screen from the computer. I haven't worked that out yet.
Yes, I saw you could share a screen. Now, what we're going to do here is we're just going to fold a little bit of the edge back, just ever so slightly. So we are just folding. We're going to do that on both sides. And this helps with 2 things. It stops the yarn sliding off into the gap. So once we start wrapping, it's going to stop the yarn sliding off. Can you see what I've done?
That's a really good idea.
Yeah.
Really good idea.
Because when I was a kid, we used to make these pom-poms without breaking the ring. So you would actually make them, you'd leave the cardboard rings intact, and you then, by doing that, you actually you had to cut your yarn so that you can only put a small little bit of yarn through at any one time. But the way we're doing it now, you can leave the yarn on the ball. You don't have to take it off and put it into smaller bits. So what we're going to do now is put those back to back. So you've got a bit facing up here and a bit facing up here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah, total sense. And to put the slits in, because, like, you cut them through anyway at the end, don't you?
Well, that's what you see, when we were kids, we didn't used to. You had 2 solid discs.
Okay.
But this is sort of a newer method of doing it, and it just makes it easier. So I'm just going to grab some yarn. So I'm gonna.
I don't know what your thoughts are, but I think this is a really great activity for all the family to do.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, I mean, when we were doing the Guinness World Records, everybody was doing it. We had parents, kids, everyone absolutely loving it. And it was really funny, actually, because I had the whole of Bromley football team come into the Glades in Bromley. So this is like their professional football team, and all of the boys were in there
Really?
doing pom-poms, and they really enjoyed themselves. They found it really good fun.
Do you know, I'm always amazed about when I hear stories of people doing knitting projects, how many men years ago used to enjoy knitting, you know, and I don't know why that surprises me, because it's a really great skill.
They still do. So when you start, just put your finger down on the tail, and then just start wrapping, and you're just wrapping through that gap.
Oh, okay. That is so amazing.
And you can shuffle. You can move around as you go, but when we get to the edges, we're going to shuffle some of this around. So don't wrap too tight, because if you want to try and shuffle some of you shuffle up in that direction. But you can actually get almost all the way out to the edge. So we're going to go all the way round, and then we're going to come all the way back on ourselves. And you can, the thing is, you can make your pom-pom as light or as you want. So I'm going to take that all the way up to there. Can you see that? So it's way up to the edge, and I'm coming back. And then I'm going to go off in the other direction. But actually, you were talking, Mandy, about men and knitting and crochet. And some of the knitting and crochet designers that I follow, in fact, a lot of them that I follow are men. So you've got Arnie and Carlos. They do both and crochet. They're Norwegian guys. And then there's another guy in Canada called the Crochet Crowd that I follow, and they're absolutely amazing. And then there's a guy in the Netherlands called Stephen West, and they really are amazing designers. And
their information in if we get time to put their links in message or something, if anyone's interested.
I can do. I mean, Stephen West is very, very advanced knitting. Yeah. I'm not even sure that I would be capable, but I haven't actually tried any of his patterns yet. But he's well known in the knitting circles. So I've come around once, and I'm on my way back. And basically, you can flip this if you need to flip it over, so that it makes it easier for whichever direction that you're going in. So you're just turning, wrapping it round as you go.
I see you've got quite a busy week coming up. You're doing quite a lot of collaborations with other artists.
The one with Anthea on Thursday night, and we're making Valentine's cards.
Looks like so much.
On Thursday night, and she has one that I've already designed. It's on the table somewhere. I might show you in a minute. And then Anthea's got one which I know what it is, but she hasn't revealed it yet. So she's going to be doing another one, and that's going to be quite good fun. So that's on Thursday night. And then I need to, because I once I get to grips with StreamYard, I'm going to launch my own craft along. I think it might be a craft along Friday.
That sounds great. So if anyone wanted to come and join in with that, then would they just look you up on Funky Makers, or?
Yeah, Funky Makers at the moment I'm mainly on Instagram, but I am going to revitalize my Facebook presence. mainly because that's where StreamYard works, and I really like this whole idea of StreamYard. So I'm going to be doing craft along lives on a Friday, I think, on there. But you can find me on either Facebook or Instagram.
Lovely. So if perhaps we'll put the link in there as well, if you wouldn't mind. We'll put the link in there if anyone wants to follow what you're doing. And we'll put your link in the message or in the bio after we've finished. Because I think you can, like myself, I get inspiration from lots of different artists. You know, I like to watch and go to lots of different craft groups and be involved in. You know, I think we talk about in Tech Pixies, isn't it? A world of abundance and not scarcity.
Yes. Yeah. And yeah, I think it is. I mean, when you do things live like this, it sort of, you know, people trust you when they see that you can do it. And then when you do launch your own sort of paid workshops as well, then people know that you're, they trust you to deliver a good workshop.
Definitely.
Right. So I've got mine. I've probably gone round there about 4 times.
Very quick.
All the way around. Yeah. So did we tell you the number of pom-poms we made? We made over 36,000 pom-poms.
Exactly.
So so it was quite a lot of pom-poms, and I made quite a lot. We've done them like this, but I do also use the like the bought pom-pom makers. So the Clover, I think they are.
That's a bit new to me.
I might
heard of them. I haven't seen them. They look very interesting.
I might go and get. I think there's one down the other end at the side of the room. I'll show you what they're like in a minute. But it is nice. You don't need anything fancy. But we did buy them because just because we were making so many of them. Because to be fair, the cardboard, you probably can only use the cardboard maybe once or twice. Because once you start cutting around the sides, you might cut into the cardboard, you know, so you may not survive doing more than a couple of pom-poms. And we were making so many, we needed to be able to make them in, you know, with something that was going to last. So I'm just going to cut off my yarn there. And I'm now going to get a piece of yarn ready. And I'm going to double it over to tie my pom-pom with. So I'm just going to cut that off, and I'm going to leave it here so that it's ready once I've cut round. And now I'm just going to pop my scissors in the gap, if you can see that there, and I'm going to slide round. So you now want to sort of hold your pom-pom sort of quite central, because what you don't want to happen is the strands to sort of fall off when you start cutting round. So if I start cutting, you can see what I mean. So they're gonna spin out like this. I'm just going to see if I can move my light, because I'm looking at the camera and thinking I'm not sure that you can see.
No, we can see. It's good.
Oh, that's better though. That's better. So I'm going to continue, but I've got my thumb here in the middle, and I've got my fingers under, just holding everything in place. These strands sort of spring out.
I can't remember the last time I made pom-poms.
I mean, it's one of the reasons that I came up with the idea actually for doing the record is because of my after school clubs and the fact that the kids absolutely love doing them, and you know, it's like, well, what can we do? I was inspired actually by my son's. As you can see, I'm actually cutting little pieces out of the cardboard. My son's taekwondo teacher and her husband, they have 5 Guinness World Records between them. And seen them do a couple of the rounds, and they're actually the world's most powerful couple. They've been in those 3 Guinness World Record books. Yeah, I was really inspired by Lisa and Chris, and thought, oh, you know, there must be records that we can do as a community. And I could see the amount of support that they got behind them. Oh, actually, you know what? I've gone on ahead without without explaining what I'm doing. So I'm just going to. So now we've cut all the way around. You can see that's sitting there now, and now we've got our strands. So what we're going to do is we're going to pop those strands in between the 2 pieces of cardboard there, and we're going to pull it all the way around, and we're going to tie 1 knot, okay, and just let that knot slide. You need to pull it tight, but you need to let it slide all the way back into the center, okay, all the way back in. You need to pull it quite tight, and then you flip the pom-pom over and you pull the yarn around the other side, and we're going to tie another knot. And this time it will allow you to pull the knot tighter. And it's the thing with the pom-pom, it's really important that your knots are really tight, because if they're not, your strands will start falling out. Right, and now I'm going to make a second knot. So it's a double knot on that same side, and that stops my knots from opening up because I've now got a double knot on it. Okay, so that's 3 knots in total we did. 1 on one side, flip it over, and then you do 2 knots on the other side, pulling them as hard as you can. And now I'm going to take my cardboard off. Now, if you've got a very big pom-pom, what might happen is your cardboard's just going to rip, because it might not ease off. This one's fine, actually. It's going to ease off quite nicely. There we go. I would probably get away with 1 more use of those cardboard ones. I did take a little notch out of it when I was cutting through. Let's pop that in the bin. And now we've got our pom-pom, and we've got a few like longer bits. So I'm just going to give the pom-pom a trim. And so you trim off all the longer bits that are protruding out, that are sort of making it not look so pretty. And this yarn that I've used on this occasion was quite reasonably thick, actually. So that's probably why I got mine done quite quickly. So, whoops, that's that one. I'm just going to take the rest of the table. One method of doing them, and it's really quite good. And you've then got your tail. It's always quite good to have your strand that you're tying with quite long, because depending on what you do with your pom-pom afterwards, you can use it to hang your pom-pom, or you can use it if you're joining it onto something else. You can tie them together. You can tie your pom-poms together, or putting them around a wreath. It allows you to tie them around the like styrofoam wreaths, that sort of thing. Okay, so how are you doing, Mandy? How have you? Should I just? I'll pop this back up for a minute.
Yeah, I'm
so
slowly.
I can see. Okay.
And mine's probably a bit wonky because I don't know. I didn't do my circle.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. Hey. I mean, once you tie it, let me see so you can actually see me. Once you tie it, it'll be absolutely fine.
Yeah, no, it's I love the tip of this. Like years ago, like you said, we had the whole circle. You had to thread it through here.
You had to thread it through the middle.
Yeah. This is great. So you said you did lots of kids classes then before COVID.
Yeah, so I do. So I got into doing my crafts after school clubs by helping out with the PTA, and I've always been crafty. I've knit since I was very young. I probably started knitting when I was about 6, and crocheted then when I was slightly older. But I've always loved crafts. Totally, been absorbed by it, and even now I'm quite happy to learn a new craft. If I see, I've got my friend who's done this macrame piece behind me. And I've done some of her workshops to learn macrame. She's a lot better than I am, but obviously she's the teacher on that front. But we've done things like jars, this jar.
So for anyone that perhaps hasn't seen any of your work before, you did a lot of work. We did a little demo, didn't we, on the paper rolling and making art out of that. I've seen you do quite a lot of work with that, haven't you?
Yeah, so I love paper craft. I'm just going to show you, actually. I've just spotted my heart for Thursday night. For the demo we're doing on Thursday night, one of the little rolls has come slightly undone. But so this is the heart that we're going to be doing when I do a live on Instagram. That is with Anthea on Thursday night. So that's paper rolling, and I've done the same sort of thing with a star. This was the star from Christmas.
Oh, it's amazing! I'm definitely going to have a go at doing that. That looks really great.
The stars, they look really good, don't they?
It's really nice because you can. You're a bit like me, aren't you? Like to upcycle, recycle as much as you can in the house.
Yeah, I mean, we really need to be a lot more wary of what we're sending to landfill these days. So I do really try to reuse as much as I can. I do. You notice the tin that I actually draw the circle around, and that's denim. That's denim that I've recycled and fringed and just popped around a coffee tin, and I use that for storing bits and pieces.
So that's just is that old jeans that you've done that? Yeah. I love working with recycling and upcycling.
I love denim. Absolutely love denim, and this is another version, and I've got some of my scissors in there. And that's just fringed down here.
Again, denim, you can do so much with it, can't you?
Yes. Yeah.
Your imagination's the only sort of obstacle, really.
Absolutely. You can. So I'm in the process of trying to create a basket as well. So I've cut all the denim into strips, and then I'm going to crochet around the strips to try and create like a basket.
But I think you can make a Christmas tree as well out of denim.
Yes, yeah, that's been put away now till next year. But yes, I did do a Christmas tree. Basically, it was exactly the same as this idea here, except I folded some cardboard into a cone shape.
Yeah,
and I put the strips around it. So it was just going up in a cone shape, and then put some buttons and beads on it to like decorate it as a Christmas tree. And actually I did one for this jumper as well. I had because I don't particularly like buying Christmas jumpers. Yeah. So I had I just did a fabric triangle and fringed it all and put strips of denim across it and fringed them all as well. So
nice.
Yeah.
I've got lots of bottles that I use for my daughter. They're like, because my daughter's got quite complex needs, they're like litre bottles, and I have quite a lot of them, and I suppose that's a bit why I want to recycle as well, because we throw a lot away and I don't want to. So if you've got anyone got any ideas what you can make out of them, I'd be really interested. I have cut them off and just made them as little sort of like holders and things.
Yeah, you send me a photo of the shape, Mandy, and I'm sure I can
yeah, because even the lids, I mean,
other ideas.
You can make them as shakers, I suppose, but beads and buttons in them as sensory things for the kids. But yeah, I just look at them and I see, just what they're used for the milk, really, or the water. But Yeah, so any suggestions you got on that would be great.
Yeah, I think on my Facebook page there's a bottle fish. So you've got the Posca pens that I saw you use the other day.
Yes, yeah,
The
yeah,
chalk pen.
yeah.
I'll post the comment on. I'll post a picture on here afterwards. But yeah, the fish work really well from a bottle, depending on the shape of the bottle, of course. But right, so I'm going to go on and show you a different one. So I've got a fork. This is going to make quite tiny pom-poms. So I've got yarn that's quite a bit thinner than the one I was using earlier. But this makes really tiny pom-poms, but they're really cute if you want to use them for lumps and bumps. So basically you just hold the tail with your thumb and you just start wrapping around the fork. So you don't want to go too far back the fork, and you don't want to go too far forward on the fork, because you need to be able to get through the bottom here later when we're going to tie it, and you don't want your strands to fall off the end of the fork. So you sort of just go in the middle. So it's quite an easy one to do.
What would you use little pom-poms for?
Yeah, I was trying, I did a little character the other day, and I can't find him. Again, I'll have to see if I can find a picture of him and post him after. So I don't know, I've done maybe 20 wraps there, and I'm going to, and I'll show you in a second actually what you could do. But I made them into eyes. So they were little, the ones I did were white pom-poms. So they were the whites of an eye. And then I put a little button on top of them for the center of the eye. Right. Oh. So I've just threaded. So you've got 3 spaces here at the bottom of your fork, and you thread that yarn, which you're going to use to tie your pom-pom off with. You thread it through the middle space. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you just bring it up over the top of the through the middle space on the top of the fork, and you're going to tie one knot really tight, and then you're just going to push that yarn back through that space again. Might need slightly long nails to do it, but push it back through there and bring this yarn back up through from the top end. And now we're going to tie 2 knots. It's really so really tight knots, and then you're going to tie the second knot really tight. So now it sort of looks like a little bow. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're going to slide it off, and you can see your loops. Sorry, loops there. So I'm just going to slide my scissors into those loops and cut through those. So that's one side of the pom-pom.
They are tiny, aren't they?
Yeah, they're so cute though. And I'm going to go through the other side, and again you do the same thing. You just give it a fluff up, and you cut off any longer bits, and you can give it a trim back. You can make it smaller if you want. So depending on what you want it for, I'm just cutting some bits away. There we go. So there we go. That's a nice little neat pom-pom. But let's say I was trying to create like a little character. So
a nose or an ear or anything, couldn't it?
Say again, sorry.
Could be a nose or an ear.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, yeah, if he was a nose, sorry, I get the angle wrong for my camera. If that's sitting there as a nose, he almost looks a bit like the Cookie Monster. Oops. Sorry.
Do you want to get that?
No, I'll get it later. So yes, I mean, he almost looks like the Cookie Monster, doesn't he, from Sesame Street?
Yeah.
You know, he's the eyes. You could put some eyes on there. So yeah. But you could equally, you could have two of those, and you can have them on the top of it, and you can have another one sort of sitting over here, and that could be the eyes, and you can have a different color. You can make a different pom-pom and different color for the nose. You know, that you can do that. So yeah, really good.
You can make a few different sizes. You can make lots of different things, different animals with different features. It's yeah, it's good fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And as I said, so now that we've done that, I'm going to tell you how I did this. So before I actually, so I made the pom-pom on here, and before I actually cut it, I slid the peg into the middle. Does that make sense? So if I had, I haven't got an empty one of these pegs at the moment, but so when I was actually, before I actually cut around the edges of the pom-pom, I slid the peg in the middle, so that when you are actually tying the pom-pom, you're tying it around the peg.
Right. Okay. So you're just sort of putting it into the middle.
Yeah. So you put the peg in the middle,
and you tie it on. I see.
and
Yeah.
you tie it onto, because that's how you get the peg to be the centerpiece. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, I can see now. You've got a little face on there. Before,
So
it's like,
and then when you cut your pom-pom, you cut your pom-pom, and then you tie your pom-pom, but you're tying the pom-pom onto the peg doll.
Oh, I really like that.
And that's how you do those. And then, you know, the little, so, you know, with the cardboard rings, these rings is big. So the size of the pom-pom is going to be determined by the gap between the center and the top here. So if you wanted a bigger pom, and you know, we've got some bigger pom-poms with this one here, you would need to make that gap a bit bigger. So you need to do something, I mean, you could almost do a saucer, I guess. If you wanted to, you could do something like a saucer and something smaller. What I would say, though, actually, is not make the center much bigger than this, because when you start cutting around the edge, the strands will fall through the middle. Yeah. So I would always do something about this size for the middle, and maybe even smaller than this, like a smaller lid. But you can grow this. You can grow the outside of the size. But if this is too big, when you start cutting your strands, they're going to fall out because your hand can't control them all. And when they start springing up, they tend to stay in there when it's that size. But you get, so you want
that you can get your hands around, really, because if it's like really massive like this, if you're holding it both sides, you can't. I'd imagine it quite hard to to hold the pom-pom in place. Yeah, I get that. Where it would all be right in the middle.
And there was one other method I was going to show you, which is it is similar to a fork method, but let me just clear the stuff away. In fact, there's probably two other methods. I don't know how much time you want to spend. What I'm going to do here is just cut. I've got a piece of cardboard. Just going to cut a piece. And I'm going to cut a little hole, a little slit out of it here.
You have the big screen.
It's actually the same idea as the fork, but actually it's easier. This method is easier for smaller children to use, because you get to hold this. In fact, if this is too big for them, you can just cut a little piece off off here so it's easier for them to hold it. So you're almost creating like a cardboard fork, if that makes sense. So you just make it easy for children, or if you do have people with special needs, then this may be as there's less sort of work on the fine motor skills to do this. And basically you start and you wrap. And it's the same way as we did the fork. You just need to make sure that you don't cover this gap completely. You might actually want to put your thumb through there if you wanted to. And then we'll do a little bit more. I'm using quite a thick yarn on this one. And we cut that off and cut some to knot it with. I'm not sure how tight this yarn will pull because it's not the strongest. So we pop the yarn through the back, through that hole there. Bring it around the front. And we take out. Oops, I haven't got enough around the front. The rest of that. Okay. Tie the knot. I'm going to do it on the table so that I can get it tight. So we've got that there. And pull it around the other side. There we go. So we've got that tied really tightly. I'm not sure what they do, but basically cut this. Are you still there? Sorry.
Yeah, I don't think I can talk when I'm in the waiting room. I thought I'd give you the big screen.
Oh, okay.
Really great. I mean,
so yeah, so that was for children, and for anyone who's got any issues, then it's a good way of doing it. Just cut, so you're not going through the cardboard this time, you're on the edge cardboard. And oops, I've got a couple of strands I hadn't cut. Yeah, I wasn't sure what had happened there, Mandy, because there's no evidence from my point of view. There's no evidence that you're still around, so I wasn't sure if you'd lost your internet connection or.
No,
so that one's not, but I've probably not because I've used a really fluffy, fun chenille yarn. But that's part, and it's not so neat. You won't get a nice round pom, but if you're not too worried about the style of the pom, then this is a good way of doing it. You can snip it back into shape and get it to look a little bit more circular.
It's really nice just to make people feel included, because I know with my disabled daughter, that would be something that I could support her with doing. You could hold her and help her, whereas a pom-pom might just be a little bit more difficult.
Yes, yeah. So that's definitely an easier way. It's like you've got a bigger grip as well. And what I'm going to do before we finish, I'm going to get, I've got a couple of the plastic pom-pom makers that you can use, that you can buy. I'm going to show you because I've got a couple of different ones.
Well, it's nice to know, because some people might want to go on perhaps go on and get something offline similar. Not everyone's into the making with the cardboard like I am.
Yeah, I mean, I do like reuse. You are making a lot.
Well, I can imagine when you were making the pom-poms with a lot of people, I wouldn't want to cut that much card out. I mean, where would you get that much card from anyway,
Yes. And actually there's a shortage at the moment, isn't there? There's a shortage of cardboard because of all our home deliveries. So one is a plastic fork style.
What would it be called? That would it be called?
Again, I'll try and find a link and I'll post it. In fact, I bought these in because we were using these for the younger children at school. So like the year 1, 2 children, we were using these ones because you can grip it, but you can use both sides of it. So on this side, they can make on that side, they can make a larger pom-pom. On the size of the child's hands, they were really good for the smaller children. But I bought these on eBay. And again, I'll have a look and I'll see if I can get a link. It's a while since we bought them now, but we have some funds and bought them for the school. And then these are the ones. Again, you can get on eBay. So Clover is I think it's a UK manufacturer that you can buy, but there are other versions on eBay as well that you can buy. So what happens is you wrap them in half. You wrap one side,
Yeah.
then you close it over, and then you wrap the other side. And this bit in the middle is where you tie them. So that's where you would have cut. That's where you cut round. That they effectively act as your cardboard. That's how ones work.
And you'd probably be able to use them like loads of times, wouldn't you? You know, they're built to last.
Yeah, you really can use them. You can make pom-poms with them. So I've got different sizes. So they, that's a little tiny one. And I think there was one even beats that. I know those ones are the same size, but there is one that's tinier than. Oh, here it is. So that's the smallest one. But to the one that I did with a fork is probably about the size that you'd get out of there. It's quite making with a fork is as easy as using that one.
Yeah, because I suppose with some people they might be a bit tricky, wouldn't they, knowing how to use them? Whereas the fork is just great, isn't it? It's simple.
Yeah. I love doing them with a fork. And they're so quick. They're really, really, really to do with as you saw. And you just pop them. And if you're then, I'm just wondering if I've got a needle on the table. If you're sewing them, you can use strands to sew them into another item, whether it's another pom-pom. And if you're attaching them, you want to try and go through the middle. If you're trying to attach pom-poms, you need to feel where your knot is in the middle and go through the middle. So pop this yarn to a needle, and then just put straight through the middle of your pom-pom and come around a couple of times and secure it.
Yeah. You've given so many secrets away today. So many tricks
Oh,
of the trade.
it's such good fun. Really is such good fun.
Oh, well, thank you so much for coming on. So what's next for you then? I hear from what you said earlier, you're looking to run some courses.
So yes, I've just put today. I've put 5 days of craft over half term. It's a paid workshop that I've put up. 5 days of 1 hour workshops every day over half term. Because let's face it, we're not going anywhere else.
No.
So I thought it would be quite nice to do that over the half term. So it is the link is on my Instagram account. It will be on my Facebook account from today.
And perhaps we'll put a link here as well if people are interested in coming across and joining your workshop.
Okay, that'd be lovely. That'd be lovely.
Yeah.
So yes, so that's what's happening immediately next, and then after that, I'm also launching a knitting workshop and community. So it's going to be a knitting club effectively that's going to work in a Facebook group.
Oh, that's brilliant.
And that's going up after February half term.
Oh, that sounds really exciting. I look forward to seeing what you do, and hopefully we can do this again sometime. Have you got any
Yes.
last words or anything you'd like to say? Anything you'd like to mention, or?
No, I think thank you for having me, and it's been really good, really good fun. And yes, you'll have to come and do something with me one of the days soon. I'm going to get StreamYard sorted out on mine now. So you've got all the lovely bubbles and everything.
I wanted to get it a bit more. I'm still trying to work it all out, but it's I'm really loving the element that you can bring a lot of canva onto it, so you can be like really creative on it. And I as much like I like the element of that. You know how fun you can make things on StreamYard. So I'm really enjoying looking at what StreamYard do. So yeah, I'm quite impressed.
I'm really going to have a play with it now. So yeah, I need to for myself.
Yeah, and if you need any help with that, you know where I am. But it's been so lovely chatting to you. Thank you so much for coming. I'll see you soon.
See you soon. Bye.
Oh, thanks everyone for joining. That was Charlotte from Funky Makers. How great for us to give us so many tips. So I'm hoping to put a few more craft sessions on for you guys throughout the week when we can fit them in between the children and everything. I hope you've enjoyed today, and we'll speak to you all soon. Bye for now.